2018 GSL Season 3. This is Rashid.
We're back. It's time for Impact versus ByuN. We had a really cool series with Zest versus Party.
Yeah.
A lot of hard wins versus soft wins back there. It was one where one build defeats the other. That's fine. I'm not surprised to see that from Zest and Party. Zest says, okay, you want to play that game after game one? Let's try my way. And Party was unable to keep up. Now, Party's not out yet. He'll be in the losers match with Zest and the winners.
Yeah.
Now we have Impact versus ByuN.
Now, Impact is really, really strong. He's super underrated. Probably the most underrated Zerg right now in Korea. And I think he absolutely has a decent shot at getting out of this group. In fact, if he won the group, I really wouldn't even bat an eye. Like, I know that Zest is amazing and Parting was known for his PvZ, and ByuN is amazing. And ByuN is even in good shape right now, but Impact is just, like, mechanically very good. He mixes in lots of aggression. He's just a very, very strong player, and he's like kind of the next Zerg in line to do well in Korea. I guess, actually, I should say Leenock is, because he's Godknock at this point. But yeah, Impact's really strong. So, you know, ByuN, he really has come back into form finally. Like Super Tournament 1 was it this year that he looked terrible, but last season Code S, he looked awesome.
He was saying that he's been having some wrist problems. I guess his wrist is feeling better.
Yeah.
Sometimes if you are having wrist problems, you may even pick a build that's less micro-intensive. And of course, if you are ByuN, you normally do want to pick the build that's micro-intensive, that's wrist-intensive.
Indeed. Well, ByuN's entire playstyle is pretty wrist-intensive. He's so fast and so heavy on the microing.
Yeah. So we're going to start this off on Lost and Found. Impact here versus ByuN, this best of three. Winner, Zest, waiting for the victor of these two. The loser, of course, goes on to face off against Parting in that elimination match. Let's go.
Match 1. Fight.
Okay, so just nobody's making anything in the base today. All right.
Who wants to? It's boring.
This is the era of Haas. Everybody's figured out if you could make buildings anywhere, why would you make it inside of your main?
Yeah.
Why?
Jeez.
The map is big.
It's not that hard to do. Oh, his Overlord's going to scout it right away.
No, but in the era of Haas, Zerg players go, why would my opponent make anything inside of his main? And if I just scout it and find it, I can kill it and win the game.
Okay, I think there are two things that are really telling here.
Oh my God.
Because he's going pool first before even scouting it, okay?
Okay, hold on.
And it's 3 racks proxy.
Is he going to whip away? Yes, he did.
Yeah, so he knows what's going on. He sees a racks there. He knows there's at least one of the racks. But yeah, his hatchery just now going up. Drones coming out.
Impact's like, oh my God.
Okay. So a couple things actually I want to mention is I'm really not surprised to see ByuN doing a very cheesy move here on Lost and Found, because the next 2 maps are quite good for him. Like really good for ByuN and ByuN's style. So I feel like it's a smart move. Ooh, nice kill. Okay, get out of there now.
Last SCV? No. I actually thought that might have done a little bit more, but the RNG on where the SCV was moving on that barracks, that it went all the way around, and the hard wall with the 2 barracks there, I mean, it was going to finish.
By the way, he's making a spine in his main to move down, and he sent 2 lings out to go for a little bit of a counter harassment. So this is just really good counters so far from Impact. ByuN's going to see that the hatchery's not done and just be like, oh man, this is going to be tough.
Oh, really good control by ByuN here.
Yeah.
Stutter Step Micro is real.
He pushes everything back. He might get the SCV.
I almost feel like the idea of what Impact was doing was good. I don't know if the application of it is as strong.
He got the SCV. I think that was actually the entire plan.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Because that there's not a fixed bunker here, like this is held almost, not 100% held yet, but like we're getting close. Like you need that bunker done here.
The depot comes down in the last possible second before those links can get there. Now they can still do damage. They could still get in. But yeah, I mean, this is on some level rendered an unbreakable position. ByuN can try to get behind the minerals.
Yeah. A little bit.
I think he, I think he jumped the shark on that.
Maybe. Like, reducing the marine count a little bit can be good so they don't hit a critical mass, but I think that was pretty bad. But the thing is, the fact that there's no bunker that he has to power through, this is like... Oh, he's going to move it. Okay, he has 3 queens. Oh, he was not in position to move that when he moved it, I feel like, but okay.
Well, now that the spine's up here, there's no way for the Marines to try to edge by.
Yeah. I think he'll just keep massing him, because eventually they beat that. Oh, well, he's going to throw it on a command center as well, but he's still making those Marines.
We don't get to cast this very regularly here at GSL, so this is kind of interesting to watch. Problem is that eventually Zerg's going to have enough. Okay, not bad. Transfuses go down. Some of those queens tanking the majority of the damage.
Yeah.
And this means he can try to press into that position. Now, he was using that barracks to try to spot and hit the Overlord.
Unable to get it, though.
You know, seeing the liftoff there on that barracks tells Impact, okay, I can probably actually push out. He's not committed to this anymore. Instead, he's trying to get anything else he can worthwise out of it and then head back home and try to switch into a normal game. Now, the travel time, I mean, barracks do move reasonably fast, but it's still a long time that they're not landed and making anything.
Yeah, it's smart for him to go triple command behind this. It's also a little bit obvious, I would say.
I think it's the only thing you can actually do.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Because everything else is slowed down. You can't do a push from here. You can't really tech from here if you had 3 barracks. So I think Zerg already knows that this is going to be a triple command, even if it's not scouted.
I think so, and you can even see where he put the bunker. That's like a very anti-Zergling bunker that he put down. So that's the only thing he's afraid of. But Impact did not even waste time getting Zergling speed yet. Really kind of focusing on every other aspect of his play. And with the amount of queens he has out, taking that 3rd base, he really didn't lose many drones, other than the fact that he had to make a lot of Zerglings and a couple spines. I really like the position for Impact.
Now, ByuN's actually snuck out with these Marines here. This might have been too ambitious, to be honest.
It's a brave move.
Yeah, Marines without stim and no medevacs or anything. I mean, usually those only have good standing if you did that 3 racks rush. And I mean, you're in the middle of the rush, like what we had maybe 3 minutes ago. Yeah. So he comes out. It doesn't look like there's going to be any attempts around here by Impact, since Impact probably predicting the 3 command center play is just trying to mass up his own healthy economy. But still, ByuN roaming the map pretty freely here.
Yeah, he's still walking around. I like that he's like playing in a very brave way.
I think he just knows that Impact is going to have a certain response because of the kind of player he is. So he's hedging his bets on just continuing to move out with that.
Sure.
And do some more damage.
Well, ByuN's got his double engineering bay. He's getting stim and just producing a lot of Marines at the moment. Whereas Impact, he made a few more Zerglings and is getting his speed finally finished up here. And also getting his double evolution chamber. Looks like he'll probably just kind of go into some macro play.
Okay, so this was an inevitability. The longer those Marines are out, the Zerg would eventually overwhelm that. Now, it's not the biggest deal, but that is less Marines to push out here. I think, eventually Zerg is going to have a 4th base. It is macroing up. There's already a macro hatchery in the main. We're seeing tech up to layer now. I mean, Zerg is kind of getting all the things that can make a Zerg great in mid-game.
Yeah. And he's really got his production going very well right now, even adding quite a few Zerglings at the moment. Yeah, this is just going to be an interesting series overall, and I feel like ByuN's opening build tastes. We talk a lot about whether to open with cheese or not or something. I feel like his opening build was really smart, and that's why Impact opened this way, and now it's kind of like ByuN has almost played himself into a little bit of a corner. Do you see him doing any damage?
No.
Right?
I really don't, dude.
Yeah.
I think that the idea... it's always weird when you have some aggressive builds and it really doesn't do anything, to then watch the player try to come back. It's always a good reminder for everybody who's watching is this is why cheese is generally not always advised.
Yeah.
If you're trying to become a great player, is you want to pull it out when it's unexpected. That's why Haas was such an interesting story at Valencia was because
Yeah.
people knew he was going to cheese and he just knew how to make it work. But he has a very specific style where he just keeps doubling down and doubling down. Now ByuN is going to finally be able to come out. This was actually more ambitious than okay. I mean, I guess it's fine. Just surprised he landed right next to the Banelings. Anyways, yeah, I mean, ByuN has a little bit less momentum on the map overall. Now, I feel like ByuN, his control is good enough. He can usually overcome even that. And maybe Impact will still have a hard time here, but just GSL player versus GSL player, if I had a Terran versus Zerg and I saw the Terran do this, the way I'm looking at how the Zerg's reacting, the Zerg seems like he or she would be in very good standing as the game goes on, unless there's an incredible micro victory, which maybe ByuN could do. I mean, if there's a player with good control, it's ByuN, Maro, people like that. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, the creep spread is just kind of looking strong. So even like when ByuN is doing these micro moves, it's a battle for creep. It's not even a battle for real damage, you know? It's not like he opened 2-on-1 and there's like, not only is he getting creep, but also maybe killing some drones.
Yeah, it looks like that won't actually end up doing that much, those 4 Banelings.
That's a nice bunker. People need to do that more.
Well, not just the bunker, but the depot wall there.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, in fact, once those Banelings got there, the Zerg might have just wanted to turn around and just think, okay, I'm not going to do anything with this.
Especially when you play some of these top Zergs that are really harassing a lot, like Raynor, Dark, Impact actually does a lot of link counter harass as well. I like that. I feel like more people need to make that kind of defensive anti-harassment bunker.
Seems like Impact's trying a little bit too much of this guerrilla offense over there at that other base, and it's getting cleaned up pretty easily. So now we're getting into Ling, Hydra, Baneling here.
And that's where ByuN's composition is truly going to fall off. Like, he kind of, cut some corners going up 3 command centers real quick, grabbing his double eBay. He doesn't have any tanks or anything like that, so... Well, let's see what he can do against those Banes. Not too much.
Terrible. Yeah,
the Hydra count's really good, though.
It's the raw damage output from a composition like this that makes it hard. You can see Terran can try to micro away. If the Banelings ever connect and the Hydras ever get close enough to fire, everything dies.
Yeah.
So it's with all it's said and done, I will say ByuN's supply is still pretty impressive.
Yeah, he hasn't actually taken any economic damage other than the fact that he opened up funny, but that made Impact open up funny. But he got his 3 command centers quickly. He's had a really high SCV count for a very long time. He took his 3rd quickly. Impact hasn't been able to harass, but even so, when I look at like these unit compositions, like, I mean, it's good micro from ByuN. Ooh, that could be a good hit. Oh, that was a really good hit on those mines. But when you get this many Hydras, you're at 2-2 upgrades against the Bio 2-2 as well. I feel like Impact is making a few mistakes here and there. He's chasing far off creep. You know, his Ling Bane count isn't replenished enough to really do that. But at the same time, I think that Impact can kind of go on autopilot here, and he kind of is, where he's just going up to Hive. He can go into his Hive tech. There's no siege tanks for ByuN. ByuN is trying to basically kill Ling Bane Hydra with Marine Marauder Mine, and we've only ever seen Maro be able to do that.
Okay, another push out here. Again, it is off creep. There could be some kiting over here on the right side. I think that he needs to connect that little creep section in the middle. I mean,
that would be nice.
It's easier said than done, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's almost like me saying he needs to not lose any of his units and he's going to win this, but still, we're seeing a lot of losses there. Just in between that where the flank could have worked, but actually he has enough mobility he can kind of just run away.
This is funny. Like, ByuN's doing a very good job with his control so far. Definitely Impact has had a couple little mistakes in chasing off creep and things like that. His Ling and Baneling count is not really getting to an overwhelming number. Ooh, that was a decent hit, though. But yeah, this is kind of exciting. Can ByuN actually break through here? Hive tech is... The Hive is done, but we don't see a Spire, we don't see an Ultralisk Cavern.
You were talking about this earlier about how a lot of this is control over the creep. We're actually seeing Impact lose creep footing here pretty heavily.
Yeah.
That little 5th base not quite connected.
And ByuN is taking his 4th, so he's just trying to kind of keep his production going, his economy going.
Here we go. These Fungal, beautiful Fungal there, although that Infestor's targeted down. He needs to keep kiting back against his Banelings.
He actually gets rid of most of the Banelings there.
It's just Queens and Hydras and a few Banelings over here.
Yeah.
But, you know, without that creep, it's just hard to move.
It really is. Pushing that creep back is just so important. But the Ultralisk Cavern's going to be finishing up, and he's got 2-2. for melee upgrades. So the Ultras are going to come out pretty darn strong. But ByuN is getting into his 3-3. I like that he's just stayed on bio the entire time, because a lot of times you look at this and say, okay, you have to have tanks in this composition to beat what Impact is doing. But he's showing, like, it's really impressive to see ByuN getting back into shape, because there was a long drought after his BlizzCon victory.
Yeah.
And it feels like just in last season, right? So he won BlizzCon 2016, right?
Yep. Rogue won 2017.
Yeah, that's right. And we're in 2018. So 2016 November. And then 2018 May is when he really kind of was like, oh, ByuN's back.
Right.
So, you know, it's quite a long time that we had a drought of ByuN, but really the power that he's showing with his Marine Marauder mine, it's nice, because we've only seen Maru be able to fight this way against Zerg. You know, we saw Maru beat Su in a game that kind of looked like this. Didn't open the same or anything, but, you know, utilizing this unit composition we consider to be countered by Lingbane Hydra. And again, I still think that Impact's fine, but
well, we're at a point in this game where it's not clear if you know, which side is really... Nobody's really winning here. We're getting into a fairly even game here. And this attack, and there are Ultras with this army. Vipers as well.
Yeah, the Vipers are going to be kind of interesting here.
Yeah, that's actually more than I thought there was going to be. But
that's a lot of the Banes going away. Looks like he wants to use parasitic bombs, so
it's kind of funny to watch, though, because the medevacs are pretty well split anyways here.
But if you can reduce that count, definitely it's very, very powerful.
I suppose that ByuN has to rely on the pickups, so parasitic bombs and things like that actually mess up a retreat. And now we have a counterattack over here. Some odd pathing by some of those Banes. When they do come through, or taking out some SCVs, the bunker goes down, and it's just Liberators here to defend.
Oh. Yeah, decent, I would say. Decent little counter harassment, because, you know, we've seen definitely Impact's army get reduced several times now, but his 3-3 is going to finish. He's adding Ultras. He hasn't lost any economy during all of this, which is super important. I mean, his creep spread is continuing to move out a little bit, so even though, like, ByuN's control has been impressive and his defense has been impressive, this gets harder and harder for him from here.
I agree. We're almost getting past the point where Terran can really push and make an effective effort. I mean, we already see Impact taking the upper left. So this is Impact now on 6 bases. Granted, that 6th base is pretty far away. It doesn't seem like ByuN's given much attention to that side of the map, hoping to deny a would-be 6th base at the bottom.
Oh my God.
That bunker was crazy.
Yeah, and then the cloud on top, just ridiculous. The Ultra's trying to get on top of all this, but this is 3-3 Marauders in here.
Yeah,
so
he needs a few more Lings or Banes with those Ultras. The rest of the Ultras do go down. ByuN supply plummets to 120, Impact at 154. And should catch back up pretty quickly. And a lot of times, this is how we begin to see Terrans lose, unless Zerg makes a few mistakes. And we did see one of them where the 3 Ultras were basically unattended. Just, you know, it could be confusing for people who are trying to learn the game, where they look at an Ultra and it's this big-ass elephant-looking guy, and you say, okay, well, that's the unit you want to watch, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that unit's great, but it actually has to be surrounded by other units where the fire can be drawn away. 3 Ultras will just be killed by a group of infantry pretty easily.
Especially when you have that many Marauders and under the new patch and all.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you notice if he got chitinous plating just real quick?
I actually did not look.
Okay.
But, you know, to just point out here, generally speaking, Terran has to take a 5th base in this moment. We see ByuN doing that, but it's harder for Terran to push from here. We end up in that weird phase where they both have their top-tier techs, and it's the techs interacting with each other while the armies dance back and forth.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny because this is a little bit more brute force coming out of Impact here.
Yeah.
It's not like, you know, I guess he does have a decent number of spellcasters in there, though. He did make the 4 Vipers. He does have like 1 or 2 Infestors, and he made the Man or Storm Host. But now actually adding some Corruptors in for that anti-air. There are quite a few Liberators out at this point.
So Impact right now is looking to try to punch some holes in here. He knows that ByuN's going to try to turtle, but he's trying to get feelers out here to see if there's any location he can really hit into.
Yeah.
Setting up possible flanks. I don't feel like he's doing it with that much grace, to be honest. Especially since a lot of this is walking under the sensor tower. But this is going to keep the Terran back here. Okay, this is just going to...
Yeah, that's dead.
We'll never know. Okay, 14 SCVs gone.
Yeah, and so is that actual planetary as well.
Okay, that's not good.
Solid kill.
You know, one of the little factors we keep bringing up here is Impact's inability to have the creep properly connected. But it seems like his army's big enough he can keep pushing through.
Dude, this spell casting was out of control. That was so well done. The way that he like threw down the 2 blinding clouds so that kiting just ended. ByuN tried to kite twice, realized he couldn't, ran out of it. Fungal came down. It would like, and we also had an abduct in there on a liberator. Like that was really well done by Impact.
I don't know about these 2 ultras coming up here. We don't have a shot of it now. This is a single.
Oh, you don't know, Tasis? No, they got this.
Oh, there's nothing there defending. I'm just wondering, you know, in a moment like this, you want to be careful not to overextend, especially with high equity units like ultras.
Yeah, indeed. Okay, this attack coming in. Both of these guys not maxed out, so.
Oh my God, he did not get the hatchery. Oh,
man.
This is crazy.
Yeah, and he has
now,
no medivacs left too, so this army is not going to last that long, but there's not many units here. Oh my God, those ultras are wrecked.
What is going on? Those are hero ultras.
Yeah.
Oh! Okay, he gets the hatch. Again, no medivacs here. Ooh, that was a sick,
yeah, nice flank.
Sick hit with the banelings. Now, ByuN, that was the majority of his army. What? What?
Wow.
Okay.
Okay, that one Ultra ran in, killed 13 SCVs, and the building that could lift off and fly away.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Well, that is crazy, and that's embarrassing too when you lose. Anytime you lose a command center to like 1 unit.
Yeah, well, that's not just like, oh, that's a mistake. What that is that's never supposed to happen in a GSL game, Artosis.
The only worst thing is you accidentally like attack an SCV on it instead of repair it or something, then it dies like 2 minutes later. Craziness.
Again, lone ultras, we're seeing that infantry can alone outmaneuver a lone ultra. I just want to point it out again. That elephant is going to the zoo.
Does he
boys and
not
girls.
have chitinous plating? Like, he just had a click. I don't actually.
It seems like
I never checked the overlay, but it had clicked on there, and it showed that it had burrow, and it showed its thing that like cleaves damage or whatever, which is just like a trait that it has. I think that's what those 2 incisor things are, unless it's that it can't be slowed. But anyways, I didn't see a chitinous plating thing there, and I don't remember seeing it, so I don't know 100%.
Now,
but
this is the majority of the supply here by ByuN. Impact has a lot more elasticity with his units at this point in time. SCVs are being pulled. But ByuN's going to try to stamp out this base. I don't see a lot of lings here. Spellcasting's pretty decent, though.
Yeah. This counter harass.
Okay,
with
hold on.
Oh, man.
That CC.
Oh, for sure, that CC's gone, man. If he lost to an Ultra, he's going to lose to a bunch of cracklings, right?
Oh, my God. Okay, I think Impact's basically done it now.
Well, that's still a big chunk of Marauders, but yeah, he's losing like his entire economy.
If Zerg can't, yeah, that's gonna be it. GG.
Okay.
Yeah, if Zerg can't stop that army, then yeah, they'll lose. But otherwise, there's nothing that can produce from. Something weird happened there, guys. Something strange went down because ByuN was just losing units in fights he shouldn't. He lost. I mean, not even so much the planetary, but the Ultra coming in there, killing all the SCVs. I mean, Impact's a great player, but you cannot chalk that victory at that part to Impact's excellence. There was a mistake by the Terran. You should have lifted, you should have pulled away.
Sure. Yeah, that's for sure.
I think some of this can also be drawn back to that initial proxy.
Yeah.
The fact that Impact handled it pretty well. It is harder for the Terran to win with a push post-proxy that does not deal incredible damage than it is for Zerg to close out a ZDG at that point in time.
Yeah. Man, Impact looks like the 7th member of an 8-member boy band in that picture.
That's pretty good.
Thank you. Look, I'm not surprised about the strategies. I'll talk more about that because Dreamcatcher and Catalyst are coming up next, and I feel like both these are ByuN favored.
Oh, is it my turn to talk?
It's your turn to talk.
Dreamcatcher, game 2. Let's go. That's what I'm here for.
Match 2, fight! Titan EX1, Impact. ByuN.
So it's a pull first from Impact again, which I find highly, highly interesting.
I think he's trying to cover his bases here.
Yeah, he's playing safe. He might actually consider himself better than ByuN.
That's what I was about to say. I was wondering that because this does not draw a straight line into a macro game, guys. Even though the hatch comes just a little bit later,
yeah,
it's not the fastest way to build up a strong economy, but it does zone out a lot of BS. Some ByuN support here.
Chicago to watch these doses. No.
Thank you for coming down.
You have to turn around and look up if you want to watch us.
You'll see us.
So, yeah, I mean, the pool first doesn't destroy your economy, but I guess it makes you a lot safer against all these proxy racks plays.
Which makes sense.
But, I mean, the fact that you did it twice in a row is more interesting than the fact that you did it in game one, because Lost and Found, Zergs have good success on. Like, Zergs show really good games there. It's a good, solid macro map for them. But Dreamcatcher and, okay, because he's adding the second barracks. This is exactly what I wanted to talk about. Dreamcatcher and Catalyst are Zerg graveyards if you're really good at 2-on-1, right? If you go for the 2 medevac stim timing push and follow that up with a siege tank push. Both of them have highly, highly abusable terrain. And in fact, we've seen free wins from Maru on these maps against the best Zergs in the world. Like the Catalyst game where he played Rogue last season in the, what was it, round of 8. And it was like hilarious because like Rogue's sitting there not taking damage, and then he puts 2 siege tanks in a good spot and just kills him immediately.
It almost looked like a mismatch, but it really wasn't.
And then, oh my god.
Oh, whoa.
Okay, so that's why he went for this. Forcing a cancel on that is so big, it's insane. Wow. ByuN's day is ruined.
Yeah, ByuN is having a bad time.
God, I can't even tell my awesome stories about the strategies that are good in the map.
Well, this is the moment when you and I are usually looking at each other's faces and talking because we're waiting. I turn back to the screen and see the builds, and then the command center's gone. We're like, oh.
And of course, that, I mean, that's something we do see quite a bit from pool first play, where you run Lings around, and if the Reaper leaves, you try to get a cancel in the command center, and he gets that, so that is a huge moment. Excuse me, for Impact here. But yeah, this map and Catalyst are so good for 2-on-1, so I kind of expected ByuN to cheese on game 1 coming in today. But now that he's lost that command center, like...
I mean, the tempo in this game is totally thrown off.
Yeah. He's so screwed up now.
A lot of times, and don't confuse this with like a proxy rush or anything like that, if you can just screw up the other guy's build...
Yeah.
You, especially in competitive play where these guys prepare for weeks for their matches, to throw the build off like Impact did here. The fact that ByuN has to improv plan B this.
Yeah.
ByuN is laughing. Sorry, no, Impact is laughing.
Yeah.
You can't see it. And if you look at his face, he's not laughing, but inside he's belly laughing. He's laughing so hard, milk's coming out of his nose. He's hurting. He can't breathe. He's laughing so hard.
Yeah, I know. It's pretty insane for Impact, but there is one little silver lining thing for ByuN. His 2-on-1 itself isn't slowed, and he forced the drone away from the regular third base location. The third base location to the right is a lot easier to defend, right? So if you're harassing there as ByuN, and you pick up in the medevacs, he knows what direction you're going in, right? You're harassing the third base here, you can instantly fly into the main. So a huge chunk of the army may have to run around into the main base, and then if they're in the main base, you can fly back to the third. So this is a much more abusable third base as the Terran player here. You actually have more potential for damage. So there's still chances for ByuN in this game for sure.
And you know, the fact of the matter is that ByuN has some incredible control, so looks like there was an extra opportunity to come up there, but of course Impact would not have seen that. Now let's watch these 2 medevacs. Let's see how this does. This is, as Artosis mentioned, you know, this style can be strong on this map, although the way that ByuN had to get there was not the ideal way, since he was hiccuped so much. So he's going to try to come down here now.
Yeah, now look at this. Already getting some damage done, this third base. Going to take a little bit longer for him to defend it correctly. Look at this. Picks up, goes to the main.
Not a single Ling hit connects. But zoning-wise, Impact's still in good shape. That the 2 medevacs have to orbit around. Instead, ByuN decides to try to drop here. But Impact already nips that one in the bud.
But there's different little unload tricks you can use where you fly over chunks of terrain that Zerglings can't get to, drop off behind minerals and stuff. So ByuN can continue more. you see that Impact made the Spore in the main base and had the Queen waiting on the edge.
Yeah.
And ByuN ran away immediately. He could have still unloaded. This is something you and I talk about a lot. Whenever the Zerg has a Spore in his main base, he's going to take a lot of damage. Because if they have a Spore, it means there's nothing else there.
Well, yeah,
Like,
generally speaking, yes. That's
it's a
problem.
fact.
It's
in the code.
The Spore is generally used as a deterrent.
Yes.
So that if you look at that, you say, well, if there are Lings there, I'm going to lose Medivacs, and then I'm going to lose the entire push. So probably not worth it.
So a lot of Lings still being produced. That +1 carapace is going to finish, which is quite nice. Another Medivac coming out with more units. Yeah, there comes that carapace.
And we're getting a lot more Banelings out here. Creep spread is actually kind of decent, especially at the bottom, considering. But look at this. He's going to go for a big counterattack here. Now, maybe this isn't timed out exactly right. Maybe he wanted to use these Banes to destroy the E-base here right before the upgrades finish, but it seems like, I mean, it still could do a decent amount of damage.
He'll get the armor one at least. All right, picks up. He should be able to get the armor one.
Okay, he's actually not in the business of trying to get the E-base at all. He actually wants to come in here and get the workers.
Well,
I was wondering with the sheer number of Banes that he had, you know, that
Yeah.
maybe that was what was intended, but he's going to come in here now further. Now, the Medivacs are coming back. Banelings are going to be hatched by the time this can drop, and in fact, it's going to drop outside here, which means the Banes can come in here now. He's trying to get some of those SCVs. 17 SCVs starting to go down. More Banes coming up. The depot should be destroyed.
Yeah, no problem there with those Banes.
A drop over here in the main, but I think there's actually just enough to try to hold that off. Both E-bays eventually do go down, and I don't believe the drone count is going to be anywhere near as high as the SCV kill. Drone kills, excuse me, versus SCV kills.
Yeah, I mean, he made a lot of Lings, so his drone count was already not too high, and kills would help, but he's unable to do that. Plenty of Lings at home here for Impact. The Queen's kind of in the middle of the map, turn around and go home. But ByuN has definitely taken a big chunk of damage there. He's lost both his engineering base, which is brutal as well. He didn't finish +1 armor, right? Or did he? Because there was no real targeting of the E-bays, so I'm not...
I believe he did not finish +1 armor.
Oh, he actually did. It shows it just now.
Oh,
just
you're right.
Up, so. Okay, so at least he got that done. That's nice.
Well, it looks like that attack had nothing to do with the E-bays at all.
No. Well, it would have been cool if he kills right before 1-1.
Well,
That's
it
brutal.
look like it based off the graphs that we had. It seemed like it could have been around that same moment, but either way, the attack was great. Now, you can see ByuN did not try to punch back twice as hard in the same way. He split up his Medivacs to try to come across the map and do a lot of damage here. But right now, ByuN is not getting much more footing. We see some small drops over here in the expansion.
Still trying to push back these Medivacs. So he just barely won't kill them. Oh.
Wow.
They thought they were getting away. They weren't, Tasis.
So ByuN's going to try to push out again. There's a lot of Lings and Banelings here. It seems like ByuN's micro's been a little bit off. He normally picks up a little bit more quickly. Not a great sign, especially when you consider that ByuN is not able to land that third command center yet. And without that third base, Zerg is going to just have a lot of momentum here. In fact, Zerg might have the opportunity here to try to hit that third base right when it begins to get set up.
Oh, man, a big chunk of Marines out here with no Medivac.
Yeah.
I guess he's fine. Marines deal damage quickly.
Big drop.
All right, just 2 Queens here and a Spore. So he starts targeting down those Medivacs very quickly. Oh, man, he gets one before it even unloads all the way.
There were still 3 Marines in that. These Lings are going to spill in here. And in fact, both Medivacs go down. And I feel like the idea of what ByuN's trying to do is reasonable. The execution, the application of it is not, because Impact is completely ready. And at this point, ByuN is in a lot of ways feeding the vital parts of his army into traps.
Yeah.
I mean, for instance, those main drops, ByuN's been trying to do that this entire game. Now, Impact is trying to expand up here, and it's just not quite happening, you know?
Oh, I was waiting for that. Well, I mean, that was kind of a little bit of a bait with those mines. I guess it worked.
My question, though, is he going to be ready for a big counterattack, though? I mean, ByuN's had some bruising on Impact on his side of the map, but there's only one place that Impact has to hit. That's that third base. It just started about a minute ago.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of mutas that are popping out right now. Quite a few mutas indeed. And this is going to give Impact a lot of potential to go over and mess up ByuN even more than he already has this game.
Lingbane Muta is the brawling unit composition in TVZ, and I think it's a smart decision to set this up the way it is now that there's a third base ready to go, because Impact, if he hits this and he forces a lift or even kills the command center, I mean, with this many mutas, lings, and banes, it's not even so much a matter of splitting. Now, the mutas are coming up here. Looks like he just wants to draw the Marines, I believe, into the main. Kind of surprised he didn't actually dive on that turret, but I guess he wants to play a cautious game here. And here come those banes. They take out the bunker.
Oh man, trying to roll right past. Hits some of the SCVs, not really getting a bunch of kills there. The mutas try to finish off a medevac that picked a bunch up, but that didn't really work either. That actually was surprisingly ineffective from Impact. I thought he was going to get a lot more done right there.
Well, I thought there was going to be more with the army. We're seeing the rest of the lings and banes here, but we're getting to the point where I think ByuN might be able to hold this.
Yeah,
he's got enough Widow Mines especially.
Yeah, and he has 2-2 upgrades against just 1-1 right now. That's pretty crucial. If you're up 2 upgrades against Ling Bane Muta, that was like how Terrans used to win with that composition all the time.
Look at this
Oh,
split.
wow, that was really good.
Oh, he just gets in?
Oh, yeah.
You know what's so funny about that is that I think Impact probably glanced down there, saw the Banes rolling, and said, okay, my mines have this, and turned his screen to somewhere else.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, one might get through. It's fine.
Yeah.
Great micro there by Impact, though. And he is going to get his 2-2 before ByuN is going to be able to hit him again. So that's actually pretty crucial. You do not want to be down 2 upgrades in this type of situation. Like, even if you get a maxed army of Ling Bane Muta, it can die so quickly to highly upgraded Terran units, especially if they're 2 upgrades up.
Okay, the mutas come in again. By the way, Impact's still making mutas this whole time.
Yeah. He has a lot.
He's not even actually teching up. He's just powering with what he has tech-wise. This was pretty popular in some iterations of Heart of the Swarm for Zerg. DRG was the guy who basically stayed on layered tech forever.
Oh, yeah. You just like maneuver all game until he wins or loses.
Yeah, he basically just keeps trying to get in a fight.
Yeah.
And eventually the Terran doesn't have that much. And then he relies on the fact that Terran can't expand in massive ways later on.
Ooh,
big picks there.
Catch. Sick catch. Nice split there.
Not every day we get to watch Liberators and Mutas just fight like this.
Yeah.
And the reason why is that the Mutas are actually pretty good against them. So even though he lost a lot, yeah.
He actually lost like almost all of his mutas. Look at it, 17 mutas falling. The mine hits are really messed him up there.
Overall a win there for Terran, I'd say.
Yeah. Now, once upon a time, Liberators wrecked mutas, and then they got nerfed. Remember when Liberators actually beat Corruptors too? That was really funny. When Maru was like, hey, I'm only going to make Liberators against Zerg.
You ever wonder these guys would stop playing and come back? Where they think they understand what the units do, right? And then something happens and they're...
Sorry, guys.
What?
Hey, look, there's 3 mutas and 2 hydras. So what is this comp? Is this Ling Bane Hydra or is this Ling Bane Muta? That's my question for you,
That's a good question, Artosis. We need to get some philosophers in here to figure that out.
Yeah.
You know what? I think ByuN's gotten to a much better position this game. Now, pushing across the map is going to be hard. That's a different beast than trying to just defend here. But he's going to go right through the bottom. Yeah, there's a lot of creep and a lot of Ling Bane Muta. Well, Ling Bane.
And the defensive mines that ByuN has around here, plus random bunkers and stuff. Look at how many mines he has. Oh my god, never mind.
Wow, Impact just going to push creep right in front of this.
This is funny to watch Impact try to play against this. Like, both sides keep thinking something's going to happen in these battles, and it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Like when those Banes rolled in, and ByuN is probably looking at that and saying, oh no, it's fine, there's like 3 mines there, and then the micro's perfect. And then Impact is trying to set up those mines for days, and just every Ling that's like targeted gets killed over and over.
It's interesting because you can see both players have the micro, but a lot of their decisions are not panning out. And it's not like it's a sloppy game. It actually makes it kind of interesting because it isn't.
They're both playing very well. It's just a lot of things have happened to both sides.
Yeah, this game's been quite a story in of itself. A lot of back and forth. So there's more and more creep being spread out here. Impact's set up for some small attacks over here at the top. But I think it's the same story as what happened with the third base. If Impact doesn't get in there and do damage now, he's probably not going to later on unless it's something like that Baneling ByuN mine situation where we look like the Banelings are going to die, and they didn't. The majority, though, of the supply here for ByuN is pressuring this area down here. Now, it hasn't made that much headway.
No, Oh, he's going to roll in again. A lot of Banelings being sent in here. And oh, he gets it.
Yeah, I was wondering
Nice.
about that because it seems like the SCVs were split up well enough. He just goes for the CC.
Yeah.
Now that's going to hiccup the income here for ByuN.
That's
ByuN's
expensive,
Bane is
though.
Find out.
That's a lot of Banelings you got to spend on that as well.
But Artosis, I think what he's doing is he's saying he can come back. He has the assets to make
Yeah.
more and more Banes and maybe try to rinse and replete. And it's not the most cost-efficient way to end the game, but it is a way to try to end the game. So he can now come in here again. He's going to get some surrounds on these infantry. This is a considerable amount of Lings.
Yeah.
Even though it's a lot, Lings are about as cheap and as expendable as you can get.
He's
And look
doing
at this.
a lot with them as
He's
well.
actually forcing ByuN all the way back.
Yeah. And his burrow's about to finish. He's probably going to burrow a group in his main base, start burrowing stuff all over the place. Lots of mines out in this map.
Not a good game to be Mutalisk in this game.
No, certainly not.
I think, frankly, Impact can win this. He has to execute this right. Execution on both sides has not been ideal either. So let's see what happens. That fourth CC is being remade on the spot, by the way. It's not going to be floated there.
Yeah.
If that's killed off, though, in a similar fashion to what we saw earlier, I think ByuN's going to be forced to start lifting his orbitals from his main and his natural.
Yeah, his economy's really not that big. Like, he's doesn't even look like he's going to really max soon because he keeps fighting. And he's not growing, which is definitely an issue here.
Well, Terran's infantry is as strong as it gets right now, so
Yeah.
that may be one of the problems here for Impact.
Well, Impact has his +3 carapace finishing up. He's getting that adrenal upgrade to finish as well. We don't see any other hive tech other than those two things. Oh my god.
Oh my god, that was the greatest fungal of all time.
He's hit several of the greatest fungals in this series.
Okay, he's coming forward. Big hit there on those Banes, but it seems like, honestly, Impact just has enough. He's going to push through here. The counterattack should not be able to do anything. And thus, GG. Impact takes it 2-0.
Yeah. And Impact will knock ByuN down for that loser match. Looking pretty darn strong today. Like, both those games were definitely contested and had kind of wonky openings.
Right.
Where ByuN got a pit behind on both sides, but fought back strongly. So I don't think that ByuN's chances to get out of the group are gone by any means.
No.
But, I think it's definitely still going to be tough for him because Zest and Impact are both amongst the very top players of their race. So to have to fight party and then go up, it's tough.
Impact definitely happy with that, but it's definitely far from over from him. ByuN has to be concerned. I'm not sure what his games versus Partying are going to look like. But first of all, we're going to go to Impact versus Zest and find out who survives this group. In just a little bit, stick around. We'll be right back.